Thanks for joining us today at 5. I'm Frank Vascellaro.
And I'm Amelia Santinello. An emotional day for family, friends, and the law enforcement community as Officer Scott Patrick is laid to rest.
Losing a brother and partner is nothing you ever asked for. There are not enough hugs, tears, or handshakes to take away this pain. These memories of Scott lighten our heavy hearts just a bit. Scott's work was his dream, and his family was his strength.
Officer Patrick was shot and killed last week during a traffic stop. Today, he was honored for his work and remembered by his fellow officers and family members. We have team coverage of today's emotional remembrance of Officer Patrick, and we begin with Bill Hudson, who is at St. Stephen's Lutheran Church in West St. Paul for the officer's funeral. Bill?
Yeah, tough day here, Amelia, in the very church that he and his wife Michelle were married at 26 years ago. Hundreds of family and friends and 4,000 law enforcement personnel from across the region were here for the funeral of Officer Scott Patrick. Against a sad wail of bagpipes, Scott Patrick's family gathered to say their final goodbyes, starting with an embrace only another slain officer's widow, Gail Bergeron, would know.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want.
With a sanctuary filled with family, some 4,000 law enforcement officers watched the service on televisions around the church. Hundreds of people stood along flag-lined streets outside. Scott's chief and fellow officers were first to speak.
Scott's path led him to being a cop. He chose to walk a path fraught with danger. He chose to place himself in harm's way.
Others recalled his quick wit and humor and what he'd think of all this attention and honor.
And I can see him now if he was here. He'd put his arm around me and he'd have a smirk on his face, a twinkle in his eye. He'd say, "Hey, not bad for a Humboldt grad, huh, cadet?"
If I can't help falling in love.
Country singer Tim Mahoney sang the Elvis tune played at Scott and Michelle's wedding. Family members recalled his love for his girls and desire to provide.
Anyone that knew and understood Scott would tell you that he was a direct man and was very serious about the plans he had for his and his family's life.
Plans that ended too soon in terrible violence. An officer remembered for all the good he left behind. Now, to give you a better appreciation for just the outpouring of police support here, this service wrapped up about 12:30, but it took another 2 hours to get all those squads in that huge procession out to the cemetery before the casket and Scott's family to take him to the cemetery for his final rest. Amelia?
Yeah, and Bill, as you know, often in these type of funerals for police officers, we see officers come from a great distance, so I have to imagine that was the case here as well.
Absolutely. We saw a couple officers from the Chicago Police Department walk in. There were also officers here from as far away as the Dakotas, Iowa, Wisconsin, even up in Canada.
You know that meant a lot to the family, too. All right, Bill, thank you.